Greetings and welcome to my 7th video in the series Searching for the Messiah in Judaic Scriptures. Today we will be taking a look at a Bible prophecy that has been always thought to be referring to the Messiah. However, over the last few years I've heard many different people dispute whether this prophecy actually refers to the Messiah. In today's video, we will be looking at the prophecy and we will be analyzing whether this prophecy is indeed about the Messiah or not. The passage in question is Isaiah 53. However, the prophecy found in Isaiah 53 actually starts in Isaiah 52. For today's reading, we will be using the JPS 1917 version of the Bible. Behold, my servant shall prosper. He shall be exalted and lifted up, and shall be very high. According as many were appalled at thee, so marred was his visage, unlike that of a man, and his form unlike that of the Son of Men. Verse 15 reads, So shall he startle many nations. Kings shall shut their mouths because of him. For that which had not been told them shall they see, and that which they had not heard shall they perceive. Now, it says, behold my servant, okay? Automatically we think of a servant as a person. However, some people have claimed that this verse refers to the people of Israel in general. Let's see if that's true. Verse 14 says, according as many were appalled at thee, so marred was his visage, unlike that of a man. Now, when we look for the word visage in the Merriam-Webster's dictionary, visage refers to a person's face. It says in verse 14 that his face was so marred, be unlike that of a man. Okay, so if this verse were talking about the people of Israel in general, it would be referring to their face collectively, because here it's talking about a visage. Isaiah 53, and we're going to analyze chapter 53 in its entirety on another video. But right now I want to skip down to the verse where the next clue for our analysis is found. It is on It reads, by oppression and judgment he was taken away, and with his generation who did reason. For he was cut off out of the land of the living, for the transgression of my people, to whom the stroke was due. Now, right away it talks about a person who was cut off from the land of the living. Many people think, well, Israel did lose their land, and so the nation of Israel did cease to exist. Could this possibly be about Israel, the nation, and not necessarily about the Messiah? However, let's look at chapter 9. And they made his grave with the wicked, and with the rich his tomb, although he had done no violence, neither was any deceit in his mouth. Well, right away we see that this particular passage talks about a man with a grave. And what is a grave? And what is a tomb? Because it also mentions tomb. Merriam-Webster's dictionary, a tomb is a building or chamber above or below the ground in which a dead body is kept. So But Israel didn't have a tomb. In other words, this is an actual chamber or place where a body is kept, a dead body, and it's either above ground or below ground, the way that the definition reads. Where it says, he had done no violence, neither was any deceit in his mouth. Right away, this also seems to indicate one person. Could we say about every person in Israel, there was no violence done by them, and there was no deceit in their mouth? If we were to be talking about the nation of Israel, we would have to say, well, collectively they had done no violence, and collectively there was no deceit found in any one of their mouths. No one in Israel had done violence. No one in Israel had any deceit in their mouth. Okay, very, very unlikely. Chapter 53 verse 12, of course we're still in Isaiah. It says, therefore will I divide him a portion among the great, and he shall divide the spoil with the mighty, because he bared his soul unto death, and was numbered with the transgressors, yet he bore the sin of many, and made intercession for the transgressors. Okay. Because he bared his soul unto death, and was numbered with the transgressors. Now, right away, we would have to say, if this particular verse was about a nation, that none of them were considered transgressors. Here, in this verse, it is saying that this man would be numbered with the transgressors, and he would make intercession for the transgressors. But look back at the beginning of the verse. Therefore I will divide him a portion among the great, because he bared his soul unto death, and was numbered with the transgressors. What is this verse saying? Well, he will be divided a portion because he was not a transgressor, and yet was numbered with transgressors. And you say, well, perhaps Israel was not transgressing. Okay? Perhaps Israel is not considered by God to be transgressors. Let's look at Daniel chapter 9, verse 11. Yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law, and have turned aside, so as not to hearken to thy voice. And so there hath been poured out upon us the curse and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of God. Okay, so right away, Daniel himself is telling us all of Israel has transgressed. We just saw Daniel chapter 9 say, all of Israel has transgressed. And listen to what he says in the same chapter, verse 20. And while I was speaking and praying and confessing my sin and the sin of my people Israel, and presenting my supplication before Hashem my God for the holy mountain of God. And then it continues, yea, but he was saying, he was confessing his sin and the sin of the nation of Israel. Now, in fact, not only is he confessing his sin, he's confessing Israel's sin. Is Israel the servant that chapter 53 speaks about? Obviously not. Daniel says it can't be them, they are transgressors. And by the way, look at Israel now. Could we look at Israel now and say, well, the nation of Israel is no longer transgressing. Everyone there is completely sinless and living the way that God commanded. We can count them as the servant who has not transgressed, because everyone in Israel right now is transgression free. Could we say that? No. But what is even more interesting about this particular prophecy in Isaiah is this: the Messiah will be transgression free. That's right, he will be sinless. Remember, that's why he will be counted as one of the mighty, because he will be numbered with the transgressors, even though he's not one. What do you think? Until next time, take care.